This is Alice Mitchell and you're listening to True Blood.
Jeez, this is the most one-eyed podcast.
It's what we're here to do. There is only one side in this competition. It's game-changing.
It's absolutely game-changing,
Exactly.
Deeble.
Riddle me that,
Yeah,
mate.
riddle me that, Deeble.
Do you remember? It's what we're here to do.
It's absolutely game-changing, Deeble.
This is True Bloods, the number one independent Sydney Swans fan podcast in the stunning Swans HQ today for a very special interview with our number one key defender, Alice Mitchell. Alice, how's it going?
It's going well, Polly. Thank you for having me on here today.
You're very welcome. We're very blessed that you could come on today. You've just come from training. How's pre-season going? How's it gearing up?
Yeah, it's going really well at the moment. The girls are training really well. We've had a pretty tough block these last 6 weeks.
Yep.
And we're going to head into another pretty heavy 2-week training, 2 weeks ahead of us before we start preparing for matches. So,
Yeah, cool.
But the girls are doing really well. Bodies are holding up well. So
Love to hear that.
Yeah, we're excited for games to finally start because it feels like we've been training for a really long time.
Yeah, because you guys did like a pre-season, right? Were you part of that?
Pre-season block, which started in Feb. So we've been going for a very long time, and we had 4 games in that block, but it's a lot of training and not a lot of games. So
It does get to you. And those games weren't really games for the people that may not have been aware, because there wasn't heaps of publicity about them, because you guys were doing like half games against Brisbane and Adelaide.
Yeah, it was kind of random. Like you do, I think Brisbane and Adelaide combined a team together to field a team to go out on, and then we were obviously getting top-up players because there was girls that were away, and through injuries didn't want to play. So it's still obviously good exposure to get out there and like play footy, but it's nothing like playing with your full strength side.
Yeah, and we're not doing that VFLW stint this year. Have you felt there'd be a difference in the lead up without that, or has it sort of felt the same?
It's kind of felt the same. Like even though it wasn't like the proper VFL stuff that we were doing, it's definitely still felt the same. Like it's probably better, maybe playing more AFLW players. Yeah. So it's maybe better quality, but they're not fully sided teams. So it's hard. But at the end of the day, you're just going to be kind of grateful for games that you get.
Yeah, exactly right.
And you'd rather be playing games than not playing games.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't play any of those games just because I was coming back from an injury, but it's good exposure, especially for the younger girls who haven't played any footy with us yet and trying to understand our game plan.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so it's good for those ones.
Yeah, so jumping back quite a bit, you grew up in Sydney like I did, so there was not a lot of women's footy around when we were growing up. How was that sort of transition for you? So obviously you grew up playing. Do you want to start there and then sort of...
Oh, we can go way back.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I've always been a Swan supporter since day one.
Yeah.
Like, there's photos of me when I was 3 wearing, like, full kitted out red and white.
Love
going
it.
to SCG.
Yeah.
So I always looked up to the men in that aspect and was like, oh, my God, like, I want to just play footy with them.
Yeah.
Obviously, that wasn't a reality.
Yeah.
And then I remember, I think I was maybe like kicking the ball somewhere and someone came up and was like, oh, like you can kick a ball really well. Like started playing for the Pittwater Tigers, which is just like a junior footy club on the Northern Beaches. And I was the only girl on the team at the time, but I absolutely loved it. Like I had so much fun playing with the boys. And, but unfortunately, like as a girl, you could only go up to, I think, under 12s before it started becoming contact. So my parents were just like, you're juggling. I mean, I was only 9 years old, but like, your parents, I'm very grateful for my parents, but they made me do heaps of sport, which I loved. But like I was juggling netball on Saturdays, footy on Sundays, and they were just like,
you need to pick.
Yeah, you need to pick, like not in a bad way, but it's just like, it's a lot for them. And then I was getting to a point in netball where you'd had netball carnivals on Sundays as well. So they were just like, okay, we'll kind of make the decision for you. You're 9 years old, Alice, so we're just going to stick with netball. There's more of a pathway for netball that you can go if that's something you want to do. So I just did netball from then on until I was maybe 15. One of my friends played for Mossman Swans and she was like, do you just want to like play footy with me? We really like connected with like the Swans. Like we just... that was one of our like things that we had together, that we just both loved the Swans and going to the AFL. And then she started playing, so I was like, no brainer, I'm going to go play. And I ended up doing really well in my first proper season back playing like footy, and then got picked for like the Allies team in the state sides, which I didn't really know what was happening. Like I was kind of just going with the flow. Like I didn't really keep up. I didn't really know that it sounds bad, but I didn't really know that like AFLW like existed.
Had started at that point.
Started. Like
I mean, it was hard to know back then because unless you were following the Giants, it's like, and you were such a Swans fan, it's like you're out of sight, out of mind.
I know, exactly. I just was not exposed to it at all. And then it wasn't through I was doing those pathways. Like academies weren't even a thing. Like Swans Academy wasn't really a thing then either. And it wasn't until I was doing those pathways I was like, oh, okay, like this is an actual like avenue that you can go down and have a career out of it. I mean, I was a little more disinterested because there wasn't a Swans team, and I think that's a reason why I was like, I'll just still go with the flow, see what happens, like and then so I did that for 2 years, and I was really, really motivated in my draft year when I was 18 to
put your best foot forward.
Yeah, to train really hard. I ended up like back then it was really hard. Like you're kind of using whatever resources you could get. You didn't have like an academy program or anything like that. Like you're just doing what people would tell you, and you'd always do more. So I ended up doing too much, and I ended up like getting stress fractures and injuries in my like legs and stuff like that. Yeah. So I kind of was like burnt out. Like I hadn't even gotten into the AFL and I was already burnt out. And I was like,
and you would have been still at school at that point as well. Yeah.
I was juggling. I was like training for like 3 different teams. Like I was doing like Giants winter series. Like I was training with them once or twice a week. And then I was training with my club side twice a week. And then I was training with my school team twice a week. Yeah. So it was like, and then doing games, like it was crazy.
Yeah. And were you still, have you given up netball at that point?
Yeah. Oh, no. Still doing netball at this point. Yeah. And then doing your own trainings, like your own strengths and running trainings on top of that. So it was just crazy. Yeah. But I was just like mad about it. I was like, I want to get drafted. And then obviously got injured, and I was like, oh, well, frick, that's done. Yeah. So, and then COVID hit, and then I moved to Gunnedah.
And most of our listeners are in Melbourne, so maybe give a bit of context of what Gunnedah is like.
Gunnedah is northwest New South Wales, so AFL is just like not a thing. Yeah. It is, it's all NRL based, rugby as well. Yeah. But I moved to Gunnedah when COVID hit. I think it was maybe 2020, and Gunnedah hadn't ever had an AFL team before. Yeah, okay. AFL female team. They had men's. Yep. Like Sam Naismith came from them. Yep. Who played for Swans here for a couple of years. Anyways, but I moved to Gunnedah, and it was the first year that I'd moved that they also had a women's team, and it was the only sport that was going during COVID. So every other, it was like perfect timing. Yeah. So every other sport like rugby, league tag, netball, all of those were stopped during COVID. So we had all these girls were like, I want to play sport, like I want to get out. Everyone's on their like health kicks through COVID, like. So we had so many people, we had so many numbers. It was like the perfect storm.
Amazing. And just like people had never played before as well.
And like I just moved to a country town where I knew no one. Yeah. So the only way for me to meet people and to like connect with people was through sport. So it was like a perfect, I met some of my best friends there that I'm still really, really close with. But I kind of like put a lot of credit to them for where I am today, because I fell in love with the game again. Had so much fun. We ended up winning a premiership in our first year of playing.
Who were you guys playing against? Because I can't imagine the pool of teams was particularly big in regional New South Wales.
No, it wasn't. It was like I'm used to maybe like when I was playing in Sydney, maybe used to driving like half an hour, 45 minutes, an hour max to go to games. Whereas like on Saturdays, I'd be driving 3 hours to go play footy. So we'd play teams like Moree, Inverell, Armidale, and then there were 2 Tamworth teams. So it was only like 4 to 5 teams like in the comp. So you'd be playing them like 3 times a year, 3 times in a season. But I mean, it's still good. Like it's
still experience,
right? We didn't care. Like we were playing footy, like we were getting out. Everyone else is staying at home. Like we did not care. Anyway, we ended up doing so well in our first year. Yeah. And we ended up winning the premiership, and that was like, what the hell? Everyone's like, this is so good. Like footy is amazing. And I think that's what kind of like sparked, like obviously footy becoming a lot bigger, especially in those in Gunnedah. Yeah. And we've like Gunnedah, even though I haven't been there for a couple of years now, like it's still a really strong side, and they make grand finals like every year.
That's awesome. Yeah.
We almost went back to back in our second year, but then COVID hit and it cancelled finals. So that was a bit unfortunate, but I was just, Sydney Swans still wasn't really a thing then. I knew obviously there was talks about getting a license. And my dad was always in my ear. He was like, you need to go to Giants, you need to move to Sydney. And I was tossing it up. Like I was really tossing it up. I was like, okay, I'm going to move back to Sydney.
Yeah.
I'm going to like actually try really hard. Like I was always training just so I could play my best footy. Like I wanted to be the best in the Northwest. Like that was like, you know, I wanted to be the best of my team, and just for my own sake, like, I don't know, just reassurance. I just wanted to be the best there, and I wanted to do well for my team, and I was ready. Like it just turned out that the Swans obviously found my name through going through like talent pathways and like allies, and they're like, oh, where's Alice Mitchell gone? Like she's kind of dropped off the face of the earth. She's not playing Sydney footy. Like where is she? So
it's like, well, I'm still here, just not.
Anyway, so I got nominated to do the summer series, which was like a 4-game series with Swan. There were like of 120 of the best girls in New South Wales that were nominated for it. And this was when the Swans were first starting. Yeah. And I was like, oh my God, like I have to do this. Like otherwise it's like, what if I don't do this? Yeah. Like, you know, may as well go in. I got nothing to lose here. If I don't get it, I tried hard. But if I do, like, oh my God, it's like a dream come true. So I didn't really put a lot of pressure on myself. I went in playing forward. Like I played forward for 2 years.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask you. Yeah. We'll come back to that.
Yeah. And then my team, of course, everyone's like, I'm forward. Like everyone plays freaking forward.
Yep.
So they're like, okay, we don't have any backline now. It's like, you need to go in the back. I was like, okay, whatever.
I'll figure it out.
I have no idea how to play backline, but whatever. So the 4 teams was Swans Red, which was like I think it was from like Newcastle up. Okay, And then there was Swans White, which was like metropolitan Sydney, like eastern suburbs, northern beaches. Yep. That like northern Sydney, eastern Sydney. And then there was like, I can't remember the difference between Giants Charcoal and Giants Orange, but it was
the below.
The rural, like the regional countryside, and then the city side of Giants. So 4 games, and my team obviously probably a little bit of a disadvantage. Like we didn't have access to academies, and we're obviously Northwest, so there's not a lot of AFL exposure up there. There's not a pool of talent, good pool of talent. So we weren't amazing. Like we weren't very good, which kind of turned out to be a little bit of a blessing in disguise for me playing backline, because the ball was always in D50.
Just so you were able to shine.
Yeah, so I was able to obviously get a lot of the, like try to get a lot of the footy, but I was always exposed to the footy down there. And then, I remember getting a call from Scott after my 3rd game, and he was just like, we're really interested in you. Amazing. And I was like, I've got one more game to play. Like,
don't get in my head.
Yeah, don't get in my head. I was so scared. And I was like, I just really happy. Like, I was like, this is, oh my God, like it's right there. Yeah. And then, I remember playing the last game of that series in Canberra, and we lost every game, but I remember
it like relatively close, or was it
no, it was a pretty big
and was it
thrashing.
Like both the sort of city teams that did the best, like both the Giant City teams and the Swan City teams, because they had the most definitely players,
and there was a few like a few Giants girls that were actually playing in those series as well.
Okay, cool.
Like I remember Georgie Flower, oh my God, I can't say her last name, but G, who's now like training on with us, she was listed with the Giants at the time. I remember versing her, and I was like, oh my God, she's really fast, she's really good,
and she's like an actual player.
She's like an actual player, and I just get so nervous. But anyways, and then I got a phone, and then I saw Ruby got signed first, Ruby Sargent Wilson, and I was like, oh my God, like, they're starting it now. Like, what if I don't get a call? What if I played really badly? And then then I think maybe like 3 days later, I got a phone call from, I think it was either Kate or Scott, and they wanted me to come down to Sydney for an interview. And I was like, like an interview. I was like, jobs, it's like a job now. Like, and then the rest is history, pretty much.
Wow. That's
sorry, a long-winded way of how we got to here.
It's so interesting because, you know, most of our listeners are men's listeners that we're slowly trying to convert to the girls as well. And it's so straightforward when you're in the men's. It's like you either come through the academy or you play for a school and then you get picked up by one and get drafted. Yeah. There are so many other pathways when you're a female player, especially... Not that you're old, but like of that, like
I'm the right side of 25 still. I keep telling myself that.
There's like the girls coming through now have had it much easier than the girls sort of your age and above into coming into footy. So I think it's really interesting to see, you know, how it starts and how you came to it.
A lot of the girls who are a little bit older, maybe my age and older, they have really unique stories of how they found themselves into the AFLW, and they've overcome so much adversity to get to where they are. Whereas it's such a, and not saying it's easy, but it's
it's a bit more
really
straightforward.
clear pathway as a female now, wanting to come through. Like the academies start from 9 and you can literally just be playing in the academies and then you can get picked up from the Swans. Like you just stay there and you're exposed to the best coaches, S&Cs, gyms, like obviously the amazing facilities that we have here at Swans. They're exposed to all of that. They see us, they see AFLW players, they see men's players, like they are able to look up to us and see what we do. And then they're obviously exposed to being train-ons with them and playing games with them. So it's definitely a clearer pathway for them.
Well, so I'm 29 and I've always lived in Sydney, same as you, Swans fan all my life. But I didn't want to start playing footy till I was about 13 and I grew up in South Sydney. Same, nothing. There's no teams around there. And I could have technically played in a mixed team, but my dad was like, absolutely not. There's no way you're playing in a mixed team. So then I just never got to play footy because I just didn't have the opportunity. And now the team I would have played for has 4 women's teams.
Wow.
So it's like...
Which team is it?
Penshurst Panthers.
Oh, yeah. Oh my God, see, it's just
so different and it's so crazy to see how much it's changed it's been 9 seasons, right? So it's just amazing. But let's get into talking about some footy. So you started as a forward, changed to a defender. How was that? Because I imagine was it quite a big change?
When I was playing in that summer series, not really. Like I kind of had a license to kind of do what I wanted. I didn't place like any structure. I was kind of just 1v1 trying to beat my opponent. It was that simple. And then once I came to Swans, unfortunately, I did my ACL in my first year, literally probably first proper training session. I'd done my knee and I was like, what is this? My career is over before it even started. And I was like, oh my God, it's crazy. But I'm very grateful looking back, but we can maybe touch on that a bit later. But and then obviously watched a season. It wasn't definitely probably our worst season. It was our first season. And it was our first season. So, we were a team that came together in 10 weeks.
Yes.
Got the license. The W season was brought forward and you're like, okay, right, we've got to fill a team in 10 weeks.
Yes.
So it was crazy. And then I was able to kind of watch the game plan and what they wanted to do, which is something that I'm grateful for, obviously. I was exposed to the AFLW space without any pressure, because I was in rehab. And then, once I started playing my first proper games and understanding the role a little bit more, it was easier, I preferred to play backline. I understood it a little bit more. I think I had more of a defensive mindset than an attacking one. I think it kind of suits my style of game a lot more, which is a lot of crash and bash and just
get in front,
going a bit crazy, which they always say I need to rein it in a bit, Alice, you need to be careful, but that's kind of how I play. And I'm not super familiar with how community footy works. Is it also 5-6-5? I think so.
Yeah, okay.
For the girls, yes.
Okay.
For the men, it's the same as the men, which is...
Would you prefer it to be 6-6-6?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Yes, especially, when you play on a field like North Sydney, which we've have played it the last couple years, it's a smaller field, so it caters better to that style. But when we're playing on, we want to play on proper size fields. Henson's a good, I love Henson, but that would be great playing with more numbers. But then people, there was a few games played at Marvel last year. It's so hard.
Even when we played the final at the the Suns home stadium. That's a proper size stadium. It doesn't really make sense to have those people on the field.
I was cramping in the third quarter.
I can imagine.
That's how much running that we were doing. I was literally cramping in the third quarter. I was like, another quarter left to do this. So I've asked Scotty about it, our coach. And I was just like, when is it? I thought it was going to change. I think it's soon.
It
hopefully.
has to happen soon. Because I from a fan's perspective, for you especially being one of our only talls, it must be so hard to then, if you're playing against a team that chooses to play 2 tall forwards, it's okay, we're going to go, you have to now woman up on 2 players. And it's if you had the opportunity to bring another tall in, it would just make it so much easier.
Yeah, it definitely, there's teams out there that have taller people, but we're very lucky that we've got girls on our team that play more of a hybrid role, that can play tall and can play small and can play on those more agile players, more utility players. So we're very lucky that our team's diverse in that way.
So we are getting the light because Alice has to go to a podiatry appointment, but we'll quickly wrap this up. we've got a lot of new recruits this year, 9, and a lot of them are in the defensive line. Who are you looking forward to playing with the most that is coming in this year?
Oh, we've got a bit of star power in our little Zippy Fish.
Yep.
She's obviously been great to see and grow as well. Even in the last kind of like couple months of our pre-season and pre-season block, I've really seen Zippy grow as a player. And she just adds like a whole nother level of diversity to our side.
Yeah.
And then we've obviously got players like Ash Van Loon as well, who I love playing with down back. I think she's so smart. Like, she's got such a good understanding of the game, and she's just physical. Like, she just gives it everything, and she really goes hard at the footy. Got a bit of white line fever, and I love playing with those sorts of people.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What game are you looking forward to most this year?
Oh, we always look forward to Giants.
Yep.
Love that, those sort of games. And I reckon maybe North Melbourne.
Again, in Tassie.
That was I've never been so sore in my life after that game. That was such a physical game. But I think
it's a good experience playing with someone like that.
And the way that we're going right now, and how, you know, our training and like what we're doing in the gym and stuff like that, I think we're going to be much better equipped for those more experienced sides.
Yeah, amazing.
So I'm kind of excited to see what we're up against. I mean, how we go up against the best of the best.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like that pretty much wraps us up because we are getting the light. Alice, thank you so much for coming on. We really appreciate it. Get out and see the girls. August 16th is our first game at North Sydney Oval against the Tigers, which I think will be a big game for you.
Massive.
So, thank you so much.
No, thank you, Polly. I really enjoyed this.
Amazing. Thank you.
This has been True Bloods, the #1 independent Sydney Swans fan podcast. We're #1 in the hearts, we're #1 in the charts, we're speaking words of wisdom. Up the potty.